What's up, garbage rollers? It's Impossible German, back with some more gameplay live from the Mall of America. Apologies for getting this going a little bit late here, but I've had a crazy week and weekend, so just appreciate your patience. We are starting this footage a little bit in media res here. And so we briefly considered going back and kind of redoing our plays, but we decided not to. And so let me just kind of briefly walk you through how this series started. So I started with a Sabine. Tyler had a pass in round one. I was able to wing leader the Sabine, and then Leia prevented me from getting a swing in. And so the damage that you see on both bases is just 2 activations of the Sabine leader ability. And so now we're up to our 4 resource turn, and Tyler is starting the round. So that's where we find ourselves. Very quick summary of how we got to this point. So well, God knows what I'm doing. Where am I going? Who's to say? It's been so long at this point since we played these games that I have a fuzzy memory as to some of the exterior things that are going on. But Tyler's in the tank, as you can see, because I'm just such a fantastic competitor. That he's really just got to think through this stuff. He's wild about this Han Blue. He loves this deck a lot. I also think that it's really cool. And so it looks like he's gonna go ahead and throw a devotion on old Leia to stop the burn from getting too out of hand here. That takes her up to a 3/3, which doesn't trade super cleanly with anything for now. But we'll see what happens. It looks like I'm going to just keep on with the burn plan. So that's, I believe... I don't even know how much damage that is. That's a lot of damage. That Rebel Assault, just such a good card. And then Security Complex gets used to put a shield on that Devotion Leia and keep her going as much as possible. He's going to ram the Devotion into... You know what? That is not a Devotion. That's not what that is. I'm seeing it now, and it's an Entrench. So that's how he was able to get that Sabine off the board. So I'm glad that I was able to cash in there and get some base damage with it. Gosh, how much would that have been? That would have been 3 for the wing leader and then 6, so 9 damage total off that Rebel Assault. And then Sabine is going to come in for another 5 boosted by wing leader. So this is a lot of damage very, very quickly. We'll see what happens, but really, if you're Tyler, you're wanting some hard control stuff here, some restore to kind of take the edge off. And what I'm wanting at this point is reach, and so he's going to go ahead and use that Entrenched Leia to get off the board. Entrenched just does the job, man, with early board control. It can get so many good trades off, and especially getting a clean kill with that Security Complex on that 4/5 Sabine unit last round has just really set him up nicely. And I know that Han is coming out this turn, and so I'm cautious. But at this point, I've got him up to 19 damage on the base, and so I'm feeling more like it's my time to just press the advantage. And so he is doing his Han stuff, and I am taking him up to 21. And that number, I remember, felt especially relevant to me. Because I really was looking to hit for a cause I believe in on one of my next draws, something like that, to seal this deal here. So I think I give considerable thought to just going ahead and taking initiative here, but I think it would have been a mistake. And the reason that I think it would be a mistake... okay, here comes Red 3. So... sequencing is tough here because obviously Red 3 could have enabled me to get more attack value out of the units, and that's pretty close here, but he's got a lot of tempo, especially on the ground, and so I wanted to go ahead and cash things in as much as possible, and then he'll go ahead and use Luke to get that red 3 off the board. So pretty intense control stuff going on here. And then the other thing is that Luke has restore 3. So the ground game is lost at this point. I did manage to grab initiative, really was hoping to see for a cause to close this out before the restore 3 could start going off. And so, yeah, just neck and neck. I kind of played to my out. That entrenched really, I had started on ground, right? And so the entrenched enabled Tyler to catch up just in a huge way. And so I really needed to close this game quickly to overcome the sort of loss of momentum that I endured on the ground that I knew was going to come with the Han turn. And it just didn't happen. So luckily, Zeb gets a really clean energy conversion lab here, and I'm able to kind of slow the bleeding. But he is going to go ahead and take Zeb out and then restore 3. I'll deal 2 back to him with the wing leader. And so, yeah, the math is getting worse and worse all the time because I've got to stick some units here, and I've got to get this Luke off the board, and he's still got just a ton of resources and ability to do stuff here. So, yep, I'm going to take him back to 21. Again, hoping to fish for a cause. And so, yeah, this is one of those things where it's just the math has gotten bad very, very quickly. And he's stabilized. It's just a matter of what I draw at this point. So I do draw for a cause, and so I'm going to try to get that out and try to get the kill. And this is so when I play Sabine green, I don't put anything but hero cards in the deck. So we'll see if the person who spotted me this one did me a favor. Yep, and I'm able to close it. So pretty good stuff there. Really dicey at the end. Tyler totally got control back. And I really, really needed to hit that for a cause. If I had not hit it that round, I think this would have been a loss for sure. He had pretty firm control of both lanes, and I had already used Energy Conversion Lab. And yeah, I don't think I was going to be able to claw that back. And so Luke Skywalker is just, wow, it's an incredible stabilization card. And I think, obviously, anything that costs 7 is worth a second look in Han because of his cool little combo turn that he can do where he is at 5 resources with the Han ability to bring Han out and then attacks with Han to get up to 7. And now all of a sudden you're on turn 4 playing a 7-drop. And that can be pretty awesome if you can't disrupt it. And I also think that it has pretty good play into aggro because aggro decks are not really built to disrupt things like that. We want to, stick to our plan A and just keep doing that. And so, a Han deck's plan A is very, very potent. And so anything going against it that isn't ready to kind of adapt and shift into slow down Han mode rather than just sticking to your own guns, I think Han can give it problems. Han kind of demands responses. And there's lots of decks that can do it. There's lots of decks that can make life difficult on him. But if you're not prepared to be super interactive with the board, like a lot of aggro decks are not, I think that Han can 100% give you trouble. And so, yeah, he was super close there, just right on the cusp of stabilizing permanently to a point where I was not going to be able to do it and not be able to keep up with that 3 restore that Luke had every round. So super well played by Tyler. I think this Han blue deck is pretty cool. So we are shuffling up for round 2 in this best of 3. Tyler's pointing at Energy Conversion Lab, which A lot of people will be doing that over the next few weeks. I'm now pointing at Energy Conversion Lab as well. I've gotten to where I'm very fond of Sabine Green, actually. I just love Green Hero, and I think that Sabine has some really cool tools to offer it. I love that she's rebel traded so that she can kind of benefit from a lot of this stuff. If I looked at that right, that was one of the rare hands that I've drawn in one of these lists. They usually have a ton of early plays, but I didn't have one in that, and I really don't think you can get by in Sabine or on nearly any aggro deck in this game without having a turn 1 play. And so anything where you don't see something for turn 1, you got to send it back. So Tyler's got 2 copies of OB Redemption. He's going to keep all that. I think I saw a Restored Arc in this. No, he has Falcon and Yoda in his hand, and so he can use Han Solo's ability to go up to 3 resources and go ahead and get those out. Han being able to play a 3-drop on turn 1 is pretty sick, especially if it's Falcon. He has that neat interaction with Falcon where the resource that he uses to keep it fixed is the resource that Han can discard after he does the upkeep, and so he's got a cool little trick with the Falcon there. All right, well, I've drawn a bunch of my favorite round 1 plays, so I've been a lot lower on Fighters for Freedom lately, and I actually gave some consideration there to resourcing both of them, but I'll keep it. So, and then Tyler's got the old initiative token, and the first thing that he does is use Han to go up to 3 resources, and figure that's probably going to be a Falcon, so I put down Sabine, but instead he goes for Yoda. And now I'm in the unenviable position that Sabine ends up in so much, where I have a choice between doing the Sabine taps or taking the initiative, and I choose the initiative. Tyler probably could have used Security Complex there. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you love to see that happening with Yoda. But he also just drew a Shoot First. I don't think he kept it. I don't know why on earth he wouldn't keep Shoot First there to get a clean kill with Yoda. I mean, for the love of God, but he didn't. So, oh no, he did keep it. He resourced something else. My eyes are totally playing tricks on me. So, all right, I drew another Sabine, so I'm hoping this one will stay alive, and I'll go ahead and resource that. Anything duplicate on the board or anything like that, you really like to go ahead and resource it. Didn't end up mattering that red 3. I lost the plot there. I got poor Yoda taking me out. Shoot First, great card. Now we've got Devotion on Yoda. So we talked about this at length after this game. I'm remembering now that I see this Devotion on Yoda. I'm remembering now what happens here. So we get a Security Complex on that Yoda. So now he is a 3/5 with Restore 3. That is insane for Sabine. Restore 3 is the kind of thing that almost lost us the last game, coming down on turn 5 with that 7-drop Luke unit, and now it's sitting here on turn 3 with the Yoda. And so really what you do in this situation is you have to pivot and you have to kind of play to your outs. And so I ECL in the Fighters for Freedom, who have Saboteur, and that lets me take off the shield and deal 3 to Yoda. And then actually it's 4 because of the red 3. So Yoda here is almost dead. Just one more life will take him out. He's gonna go ahead and swing into the base, deal 3 to me, and then I have decisions to make. Sabine gets taken down immediately, which is a real shame. So she'll go back down, and then I think the play here, I have a Rebel Assault in hand. Looks like a couple of them, actually. And I think the play here is just to take initiative, since I have lost so much momentum. You really did want to see a Rebel Assault. That Rebel Assault would have represented 8 damage to the base there if I had been able to keep Sabine alive, but Takedown is quite a card. So, all right. This is where I make my mistake. I remember this, and it haunted me all weekend. I really want Akbar here. I really want to just cleanly kill this Yoda, because it only has 1 health, right? And so the Fighters for Freedom is a nice solid 3 attack body, and it feels kind of bad to use them to finish off this 1 life Yoda. But the reality, and of course, the Fighters for Freedom actually has effectively 4 attack now because of the red 3. There is no world in which I don't do this. I should immediately get this Restore 3 Yoda off the board. It is too much healing for me to leave alive. That's not what I do. Instead, what I do is I cash in, it looks like 9 damage with Red 3 and Fighters for Freedom. Off of that Rebel Assault. Rebel Assault is a crazy card. And then it's immediately going to get clawed back in a big way with that Yoda, because that was a misplay. And it's a mistake that you see me make not just once, but a couple of times to my memory here. I do like the idea of K2SO being the unit to take out this Yoda, because it obviously represents some overwhelm damage. But again, I really should not have missed the opportunity to go ahead and get this Yoda off the board. A Restore 3 is just too much. And so out comes Obi, out comes Han, and now we're in a real pickle. Now it's not nearly as easy for me to get this Yoda off the board because a Sentinel has come down. That's incredibly easy for me to predict. Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of the best cards in the game, and he's in color for it, and he hit 6 resources with Han. That's something that you can see coming a mile away. And so now I do have a clean kill. I have a clean kill with K2SO, but I can't get there because now Obi-Wan is standing in my way. And so rapidly, the math is just going to balloon and end up completely out of my hands because I didn't accurately assess what the most important thing was in the moment. I was focused on the little inefficiency of that 3 damage when I only needed 1, and I kind of missed the forest for the trees, and that was my issue. So I went ahead and used a Rebel Assault to cash in Red 3 to the base and also give a +1 to K2SO. And then K2SO having that +1 from Rebel Assault and then the +1 from Red 3's Aura effect as well got him to 6 attack, and that's what was able to take out Obi-Wan. So I actually... Tyler only had 1 card in hand. That's something that Han kind of does, is leaves you low on cards. And so instead of sending the K2SO death effect, instead of making it the burn to the base, what I actually do there is I take his last card, leaving him with no cards in hand. And I felt pretty good about that at the time. It's nice to put your opponent on no cards. So we'll see how things shake out. And he does the Han thing. I put out another K2SO. K2SO is such a good card. So cashed in 2 Rebel Assaults here. We're changing over another round. I am not feeling great about this. 2 Fleet Lieutenants. It's pretty freaking great, though. Not feeling great about this because we've kind of entered into the mid-late game now, and I know Tyler. I know that he's got bombs, whereas I don't. I want things over with as fast as flippin' possible, and so we're in kind of uncomfortable territory. for my deck here. So it looks like he's going to shoot first to take K2SO off the board, and I can either take his other card or I can do damage to the base, and it looks like I take his other card. So he did that with Yoda, so he went ahead and got that Restore 3, and he's now back down to no cards in hand. He's got Han, who can hit me for another 4, but other than that, that is all he can do. His base is used, and he has no cards in hand. And obviously, like, you have to feel pretty good about that, like, knowing exactly what you can do to your opponent. But the problem is that I don't really have the tempo tools to capitalize on kind of backing him into a corner like this. He has the top deck, but he's also got board advantage right now, and he's got me down to 10 health with a substantial amount of fighting units on the board. So he's going to go ahead and swing 4 at me. I can't remember if he kills the Fleet Lieutenant or if he puts it on base. He puts it on base, and then I end up taking the initiative. I need something big here, so looks like I declined to resource. We'll see what happens. I did just draw an Echo-based Defender, so we'll see what happens over on Tyler's side of the board. I go ahead and cash in and kill that Yoda, which has given me problems all flipping game. The proper thing to do... Oh, nope. Excellent. So he kills my red 3. I throw down Echo-based Defender, which makes it hard for Han to swing in for the kill. But he does kill it in one action. Oh, instead he takes initiative. Awesome. So I'm stabilizing a little bit here. I've got him down to very few cards in hand. But it looks like to me like what I'm seeing now is the 2 cards that he drew last turn were 2 of his late game bombs, Luke Skywalker and Han Solo unit, which both have just great effects when they enter the battlefield. And so the plan of K2 sniping his hand didn't fully work out for me. But what this really boils down to is that a huge portion of this damage differential that you see here, all the damage on my base, hardly any damage on his base, has to do with the extra swings that Yoda with Restore 3 got in because I didn't take care of it when it was time. That single decision just really, really impacted this entire game. And so I know at this point that I'm pretty toast. And so I forget how all this goes down. It's me conceding is what it is. I don't know exactly what I was going to do with that Akbar there, but yep. Huge mistake leaving that Yoda alive, and so we head into game 3 with some extra knowledge about how to take certain lines in this game. You can go into it with a really robust plan A, like this Sabine Green has, but sometimes your opponent is going to put a question on the board that you just have to answer, and if you're neglectful about when and how you answer it, it can totally change the outcome of what might otherwise be a sure thing. I felt pretty good about the way that game 1 went, but Tyler threw those devotions in on the sideboard, I think, and all of a sudden was just totally off to the races in this one and dominated the board exactly the way that he needed to do it to win this game 2. And so we'll see what happens with game 3. I don't think at this point either of us sideboard. And I'm pretty... I've remembered this game all weekend. It was very much a lesson learned for me to not get too caught up on little inefficiencies when there's worse things waiting down the pike, and those things are named Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this is a pretty good opening hand. This is just dream stuff for Sabine, so it's really tough to figure out what you want to do with it. And so it looks like I'm gonna rely on red 3 again. I've been really happy with it in these couple of games. I'm growing more dissatisfied with it as time goes on, but in these last couple of games it was pretty good, and so I'm gonna hold on to it and resource Wing Leader and Echo Base Defender and Check my phone for something. Saw my baby in the top corner there. Look at me checking work emails at the celebration. Toxic. Tyler's outfit on this day was just immaculate. Look at those sleeves, baby. Too good. He's got Devotion, Yoda, Regional Sympathizers. What are you doing with that card in your deck, Tyler? 2 copies of Falcon and a Greedo. He throws down the Greedo and the second Falcon. Rookie. Just kidding, I have no idea. This is dumb. You should never do this. See what I did there? That was stupid of me. What I did there was I put an A-Wing down against Han, who has Falcon. You always have to assume that he has Falcon. And look at me go. I lose the A-Wing immediately. A-Wing, great card, but terrible at counterattacking. So we're off to a bad start here. It's really risky to start in the space lane against Han because Falcon is just so insane. He's going to resource forces with me there. And that was avoidable too because I have a Battlefield Marine in hand. And the really insidious thing here is that I've got red 3 and absolutely cannot play it. I could ECL it actually and trade them. And I think I give considerable thought to doing that, but yeah, you know you're in a bad way with Sabine when you're resourcing Fleet Lieutenant. That's absolutely terrible stuff. So I want to buy time and see what he does here. So I go ahead and use the Sabine taps. That can be a really handy thing to do. And at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and ECL in this red 3 if I know me. Because I don't like my trades on the ground. Yeah, it's happening. So these are going to trade. Not my favorite use of ECL that I've ever had, but probably necessary in the moment to keep Falcon from running away with the game. Falcon's just a great card. So definitely could be worse. I want more damage on the base. I want more units on the field at this point. But, you know, even Steven on damage and a blank Yoda, you could be worse heading into this round. So we draw Akbar, we draw Fighters for Freedom, we got Rebel Assault, we got K2. Let's see what we do. Yoda swings to the base. Now we're at 4 damage on mine and none on his. I go ahead and I consider deploying Sabine, but then I go ahead and tap. Regional Sympathizers comes down. That's all of his resources. And now he's got just so much restore on the board. Really wishing that I hadn't used ECL at this point so that I could throw down K2SO and go ahead and get him activated, but not going to happen. He takes initiative, so we'll see what happens. We're gonna put some damage down, but it's all going away. We've got 2 units with Restore 2 on the board. Something's got to give with that. These aggro decks, y'all. These aggro decks are strong, but if you've got a ton of Restore across the board and like Restore that's on decent bodies, oh boy, the math just gets so bad so fast. Restore, it's interesting because like I've played a lot of card games and healing is I don't know, I guess I'd say mid in a lot of them. Like a lot of times you try to build a deck around healing and it just doesn't happen. But good golly, the Restore here, crazy. Now, I don't know why I put Sabine down there. I feel like you should send K2SO into Yoda, like, all day, every day. Oh, I'm trying to set up. Oh, okay. Interesting. Still dumb. Still should have killed the Yoda first. He's going up to Han resources. So we'll see what happens now. I think I'm out of resources. Yeah, I played Sabine and I played Akbar, so we'll see what I do here. The smart money is on using K2SO to kill Yoda which, again, dummy, could have done that earlier. And we'll see how bad this Han stuff gets, because I have no way to answer that 6 health when Han hits the board. So he's going to attack into something. He can get a kill on almost anything he wants here. He's going to take Sabine. That's all right, because I can go in there and finish off Han with K2SO next turn, assuming nothing bad should happen. And of course, Han Solo is that bad thing. So, yep. Just uninterrupted. I have no tempo tools to slow down that Han combo, and so he's able to make it happen every single time with either Han Solo or Luke Skywalker. So, yeah, Han is going to look pretty good when he's able to get those combos off every single time. And again, some of these aggro decks that you see in the field are really deeply uninterested in interacting with their opponent in any way, and that's exactly what Han is after. He loves anything that's low interactivity, because chances are his high roll is better than yours. We've seen that over and over in these 3 games. So, I'm in a bit of a sticky wicket. I need to kill something, and I need to do it quickly, and the game is rapidly getting away from me because he's in bomb territory now. So we're going to heroic sacrifice K2. Forget what I'm doing there. I probably send him into base because I'm a dummy. Yep, that's what I do. I send him into base instead of taking care of the present threats. The problem is that I'm not really prepared to play this mid-range game that Tyler's Han wants to play. I'm just not ready for it. And he's been so good at taking these games into the later rounds that things just get tough and get out of control for me really, really quickly. Obi-Wan Kenobi comes down, making it even harder, and I think that's actually where that's where I concede. I know a lost battle when I've seen one. Early tempo control with Falcon and with Yoda can really do a number on these aggro decks, even one as consistently feared as Sabine Green right now. So you guys better be careful out there. The Tylers of the world don't think aggro is as good as you think it is, and they may just have tech that can make you hate your life. I know Tyler made me hate mine. Have a good one out there, everybody.